Okay, I looked for a detour, couldn't find one, so wish me luck getting down here. I think this might be the easier way to get out, somehow out there, but it may require getting wet, so we'll see what happens. Hello, this week I am in Puerto Rico, the beautiful Puerto Rico, and I have started off my journey in Old San Juan, and later I will be exploring the west coast, so just get ready to dive on in. If you're wondering where I am right now I'm actually at El Castillo San Cristobal, which is part of the defense system that the Spanish had in Puerto Rico when they first colonized the area in the 1500s, and it served as a defense for the eastern side of the city. So why am I telling you about San Cristobal, an old military building? Well, actually this old building is core to how Old San Juan came to exist, and it is one of 3 locations that UNESCO has recognized as World Heritage Sites. All of them are part of Spain's elaborate defense system back in the day. That's Fortaleza in the distance, which now operates as the governor's mansion. I am walking along El Paseo del Morro to El Castillo San Felipe del Morro, which is the other huge fort that was constructed in Old San Juan to defend the city, particularly the San Juan Bay, which was the main entryway for ships to the city. If you're arriving by cruise ship, this is still where they dock. El Morro is on the other end of the city though, so first let's see what these big walls were meant to protect. One neighborhood I passed was super colorful. I was warned not to go there, but that naturally made me more curious. And I wanted to know why it was built where it was, right outside the city walls and right on the brink of the ocean. I listened to the warning that day, but my curiosity lingered. Old San Juan is full of tiny narrow streets just like this, cobblestone streets, obviously add to the charm. I was walking down one of the city streets and just ended up seeing the sparkle of the water at the edge, and it was just really, really beautiful. It's cool how all these streets somehow lead back to the sea. I'll have to look this up now too, because I'm guessing that there's some kind of history here with the pigeons and Las Palomas. I don't know if it goes back to when they had carrier pigeons or something like that. They have these like little boxes carved out of the rocks that look intentionally for the pigeons. In fact, the quote-unquote coop was used for cannons, but once removed, pigeons moved in, and people have been feeding them ever since. You can kind of see how well defended this city was just by taking a glance around this huge wall. The scale of this is just massive. Even the Americans were using the forts that were here up until 1961, so it's pretty remarkable. We are walking along one of the most well-known streets in Old San Juan, which is the Calle Fortaleza. So I probably won't make it into the governor's mansion this time around. Pretty well, like if you go all the way around, there are gates, which is understandable. But if you do want to do a tour, I think you're supposed to call ahead, maybe the day before, and then you schedule a time. But that's just how I understood it from this one security guard I just asked. Sentry boxes were created to allow one person to have visibility all along the coast, just to keep an eye out. In Spanish, sentry boxes are called paritas. They've become symbolic for Puerto Rico. A hot day, this is actually nice to be in because it really kind of takes you out of the heat. And all I am getting right now is this cool ocean breeze. It really feels good, actually. So I almost just ran by this, but it is one of 3 existing original gates to the city of San Juan. So they use these to really control access to the city. As I mentioned, they were very concerned about security. I just finished El Paseo del Morro, which is a little walk that goes along the wall all the way to El Castillo del Morro. And it's really, really beautiful and gives you a sense as to actually how big this wall actually is. I read down there that it's actually 3 miles long and it completely encompasses Old San Juan. So they were definitely protected here. Yeah, it's just amazing to see what people could do without modern technology. So it is not uncommon for it to rain in Puerto Rico, as you might imagine. Even in the non-rainy season, this morning was going crazy, and the weather can be quite unpredictable at times. The museum has this beautiful, beautiful garden outside. It was a nice surprise because when I walked out here, it's already kind of getting a little bit sunnier. One of my favorite paintings in there was probably the Exodus, or the Exodus 2. Just was very stunning, and sometimes art is just memorable and you don't know exactly why it's memorable. And not just in museums. Art has a way of breathing life into the places that surround us. As it's been explained to me, San Turce was a neighborhood that was a little bit neglected, and a bunch of artists came in and began to paint beautiful murals on the walls. That has kind of revamped the image of this little neighborhood, and now it is one of the hippest places in Puerto Rico. I have to wonder if it is because of the gravitational pull of the street art, which is everywhere. So probably the most colorful street here in San Turce is La Calle Cerro. And I was actually here yesterday. It has a very vibrant nightlife. Not all of Puerto Rico's famous art is in museums or the streets. Some of it is in a cave and goes back hundreds of years. I'm looking for El Cueva del Indio. There's a lady, I feel for her because her property is marked as one of the ways to get down to El Cueva del Indio, and it is not. So maybe I can save her the trouble of having people stop by every day asking about it. She was kind enough to give directions. Apparently, if you park just near the beach entrance, you can walk down to the beach and then stroll over to the caves. I'm honestly not that sure where I'm going. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go along. I may be going the more difficult way. We'll see. Wow. This is beautiful up here. I'm not sure if it's down there that you find the wall art, but I'm gonna just look around a little bit and try and figure it out. feels like a little bit like walking on so somehow that water gets into the cave. It seems okay, we're gonna try and do this. It looks a little bit tricky. You can see how slippery this looks, and not a whole lot of places to hold on to. So I was like pretending to be a mountain climber. Yeah, it was risky. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is amazing to be down in the cave because there really is a lot of wall art here, and it's just incredible. It just reminds you that people have been in this region for thousands of years. Well, even when you come into this little nook, wow, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah, this place is just remarkable. There are like little twists and turns all over the place. It's a little bit of a maze even finding this place. But once you do, it's just amazing. You feel this automatic connection to history, the people who lived on this island thousands of years ago.
I had figured my way into the cave. Now I had to figure my way out.
So I'm gonna try this spot. And this looks a little bit more feasible. There's like actual footprints.
I kept thinking there had to be an easy way. There wasn't.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I think this one's too difficult.
But there was an easier way.
See that? It's like the most narrow entrance ever. So we're gonna try and do this. I might have to put this away. So this crack in the wall, this is the easiest way to get down to the caves. It's very, very narrow. Okay, time for our next stop. The art in the caves is amazing to see. And you might be asking yourself, how do they preserve it? How are they taking care of it? Well, for one thing, it's carved into rock, so that helps. And second, it's so hard to get down there. So I feel like some people must come here and just like not even bother. This little beach that I am walking to, I think it could easily fall under the radar. There's definitely a little community here, but it's very understated. Oh wow, the water looks calm today. I'm excited. Crazy remote. Feels remote anyway. This beach is just magical. It is so clear and so blue underwater. You can see everything, and it's kind of like a little maze because the reefs here are so close up to the shore. Go in, there's like a little opening, and you just like swim around. I think our next stop will be Aguadilla to see what time looks like. So I was planning to go to Aguadilla today. One of the things that I'm really going to have to learn as I go into travel mode is to cut back on the agenda a little bit, because then I kind of realized, oh, if I make those stops, I'm not going to be able to make this tour. Apparently this is one of the few places you can actually swim with the bioluminescence, and essentially they are living organisms in the water that light up at night when there is movement in the water. So I just got back from the bioluminescence tour, and It was a unique experience. It probably wasn't as grandiose as I thought it would be, where you see fluorescent blue lights on the water as you are riding the boat into the bay. It is subtle, so it's not like you see it on everyone around you. It's a very individual experience almost, in that you splash with your hands or you move your hands in the water, and that is when these little sparkles emerge. You can kind of see a light radiate, but it's not in your face, and in some ways that makes it more special.
Speaking of feeling special,
Welcome to my charming Airbnb. It was a very comfortable stay. It's just I didn't expect to feel like such a princess being here.
is this what a princess eats?
Now I need to get ready because the weather is saying it's going to rain today in the afternoon, so I really should make my way to the beaches as quickly as possible. And then I have to decide whether to go back the way I came to through the coastal towns, or to just continue along the south and cut through down the mountains. Here I am at Playa Buyé, which is very confusing to get into. There are a lot of cabanas and different places right along the coast. That was where the parking gate was, over there. So I think that is where most people park and can hang out. I'm probably going to just see if I can see the beach. And then what I really want to see is the southwesternmost point. Whether it's like sunny or not, there's this point down there that is just made of really amazing cliffs. Yeah, I could see how this would be a nice beach. And even though it's kind of probably creepy having the water come up to the homes, it's also kind of a cool effect. Okay, it's starting to downpour. I'm going to go back the way I came. Yeah, it's just very gated here. It's a little bit like a maze.
So many gates, it made me think back to that neighborhood I was warned about in old San Juan.
Okay, I will see you back at the car. So I was headed to the lighthouse here at the point, and suddenly the road kind of went bad. So I'm going to walk the rest of the way. The rain's been really flaky. It does these extreme downpours, and then it also then will lighten up. It just lightened up a little bit, so I'm hoping that's going to be how it goes as I walk along this muddy kind of road. One of the things that travel can teach you is acceptance. I've accepted that today it's just going to rain. Still seems very, very far away though. This is definitely adding to my steps. There is still kind of a romantic aspect to this whole thing, being out in nature and heading up to this historic lighthouse. It reminds me of Jane Eyre or something. Okay, I was considering going west to check out La Ruta de Lechon, the barbecue route. I don't know how you would translate that into English, but I think the weather has chosen for me because, as you can see, I really lucked out being on the west coast this morning because the entire storm has passed to the east. What that means is common sense is telling me to go back down along the west coast of the island.
Back in San Juan, it was still rainy, so I did some indoor activities. San Juan Bautista, the oldest cathedral in the United States and second oldest in the Americas. Casablanca, the home of Puerto Rico's earliest governor. But mostly I wanted to check out that neighborhood I was warned about outside the city wall. What made it so different? Basically, it has a reputation for being a rough neighborhood. But why was this neighborhood built outside of the city walls to begin with?
La Perla was established explicitly to keep certain people outside of the city walls.
Initially, it was established for slaves, but gradually La Perla developed into a settlement for poor people of all stripes, largely people deemed undesirable.
So we have to be careful to not be a little bit like San Juan, where we build walls that keep out people that we don't understand or don't appreciate or don't value. One of the things about travel is it really opens you up to new experiences, yes, but also new people, and hopefully breaks down some of those walls.
It's only been recently that La Perla has been increasingly embraced as part of Old San Juan.
Being here in Puerto Rico, one of the reasons that it's a little bit of a transition is because I'm taking this time to be able to say goodbye to friends that are based in this region of the world. I will be heading to Asia in not too long. It is a one-way ticket.
Where we are.
So we're in Luquillo, and there is this wonderful stretch of the beach where there are a lot of different restaurants, and they're all numbered. I think they go up to around 60, and we are in number 20. And there's actually a name for this place.
El Terruño.
El Terruño.
I'll always remember I had my first mofongo in Luquillo.
But we are having a local specialty. This is mofongo. It's smashed plantain with a number of different fillings. So this one here is shrimp. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with ceviche.
When people think of Puerto Rico, their first thought is often the beaches and the sun. But if you look a little deeper, it's so much more. East Coast, West Coast, wherever you go, there is so much to explore. And don't forget about the middle of the country. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and take a look at when I did a road trip in Oaxaca, Mexico.
My trip to Puerto Rico is done. It was beautiful. It's good to see friends, and it was good to see the island.